100 million euros for Valverde. Man United are going all in. Yamal could be on his way out. Barça can't sort the contract, and Liverpool are ready to pounce. De Bruyne is leaving Man City, and 5 top clubs are lining up for the Belgian star. And the big one, Mourinho might walk away from Fenerbahçe to take over Brazil? All that and so much more in today's episode. Smash 400 likes and we're back again tomorrow with more transfer madness. Lamine Yamal leaving. Now that's a plot twist no Barça fan wants to hear, let alone talk about. But let's be real, money doesn't grow on La Masia trees. And you can't just mow down a financial crisis like the Camp Nou pitch. Barca's financial mess? Still very much alive. And guess what? Liverpool and Man City are already circling, hands rubbing, wallets open. I mean, come on. You've got a 17-year-old phenom already dragging the team forward and his buyout clause. It's basically a giant neon target for Europe's richest clubs. If Barca really want to keep this kid, they need to cut the speeches about long-term projects and start showing him the money. Because on the pitch, Yamal's already acting like a veteran, but when it comes to salary, that top of the pay scale they keep promising, still just hot air. Where's the contract? Where's the commitment? Where's that mysterious 100 million euro VIP deal that somehow never made it into La Liga's official reports? So much for transparency. So much for the so-called project. Honestly, this is starting to feel like summer 2021 all over again. Remember Messi? Everyone thought he'd stay. Then, boom, he's holding up a PSG shirt. What's stopping that from happening again? Don't hit me with Yamal's loyalty. The kid's loyal, sure, but he's also smart, ambitious. And if Barca treat him like a shiny mascot instead of a top-tier star, you better believe Jorge Mendes will start picking up calls from Arne Slot or Pep Guardiola. Even Hansi Flick said he's concerned. And I get it. This isn't just some flashy winger, this is the cornerstone of the club's future. Lose him, and boom, another rebuild from zero. To me, it's a coin flip. Either Barca pull off a miracle and lock him down until 2030 with a monster deal, or 2 years from now, we're watching him tear up the Premier League in red or sky blue. So what do you think? Is Yamal the next great Barca icon? Or are we heading straight for Messi exit 2.0? Kevin De Bruyne is leaving Manchester City. This summer, it's official. The contract runs out on June 30th, and after that, he's gone. The Etihad chapter is over, and now things are getting spicy. There are plenty of possible destinations, but the wildest one. Get ready for this. A second division club in Saudi Arabia is making serious moves. Neom SC. Ever heard of them? This isn't just any club, it's basically the football front for the Line, that ultra-futuristic sci-fi city project backed by Saudi's bottomless investment fund. The same fund that's already dropped over £1.4 billion on transfers, more than La Liga's entire spend over 2 years. Yeah, that kind of money. And guess what? Sources say Neom have already made positive contact with De Bruyne. Let's be honest, if he ends up there, it won't be about winning trophies. But if Neom get promoted to the Pro League and their budget keeps growing, who knows? Maybe they build a whole spectacle around him. Still, Kevin De Bruyne playing on dusty away pitches against Al Batten, this guy's an artist, a magician, a surgeon with the ball, not someone you toss into a desert sandbox just to test a theory. Other clubs in the mix? Galatasaray, Fenerbahçe, and wait for it, San Diego FC. Yep, MLS is sniffing around too. Picture it, De Bruyne running the show in Austin while fans eat nachos and a giant potato mascot flips in the background. This is where football is heading. Even River Plate are keeping an eye on things. But Neom, they're already gearing up for full-on negotiations. So, Kev, what's it gonna be? Become the poster boy of a futuristic city in the middle of the desert? Or give Europe a couple more seasons of magic? Me? I think he's still got plenty left in the tank. But this summer? Yeah, something's definitely cooking. It's official. Manchester United and Arsenal are in the race for Victor Osimhen. Yeah, that Nigerian goal machine who's been tearing it up with 28 goals in 32 matches for Galatasaray. And now, the transfer battle is heating up, fast. Let's start with United. Their issue? Simple. Still no consistent world-class striker. Højlund? Talented for sure, But let's be honest, that's a long-term project, not an instant fix. Osimhen, though, he's a box office predator, a penalty box terminator. Ready, 2, go. But, of course, it's never that easy. Guess who's back? Chelsea. Yep, the same Chelsea that nearly signed him last year, and this time it's personal. According to reports, Osimhen actually dreams of Stamford Bridge. He sees himself as the main man in their next big rebuild. Another project. Another cursed number 9 shirt to wear with pride. But wait, we're not done. Juventus have entered the chat. And they're not just browsing. They're going all in. With Vlahovic expected to leave and Kolo Muani seen as a stopgap, Juve are pushing hard to hijack this deal. Oh, and let's not forget the release clause, 75 million euros. Not pocket change, but for a proven elite striker. That's actually decent in this market. So here's the situation. If United don't act fast, they might bottle another golden opportunity, just like we've seen before. The big question is, will they finally get it right this time? Or are they about to be left behind again? And what about you? Where do you want to see Osimhen next? The Premier League? Serie A? Or maybe even a wildcard move like PSG? As for me, if he really wants Chelsea, then yeah, this might already be halfway done. But come on, who willingly joins a club with no manager, no direction, and a graveyard full of failed number 9s? Pep wants Paquetá again. Yep, we're back. What is this? A 5-season Netflix series. City have been circling Lucas for 2 years, and now that Pep's midfield is starting to fall apart, boom, here we go again. Back on the Paquetá train. At this point, it's not interest anymore. It's a full-blown obsession. And look, no one's denying Paquetá's got the sauce. Since joining West Ham from Lyon in 2022, he's become their heartbeat. Over 100 games, getting smarter, sharper, more fearless every season. The numbers back it up. The guy's one of the best creators in the league. But here's the twist, the match-fixing case. You remember that mess, right? He was stuck in limbo, barely playing, waiting to see if he'd get hit with a ban. And yet, Pep doesn't care. He wants him. End of story. And honestly, I kind of get it. Kevin De Bruyne is leaving. Bernardo Silva's in full drama mode. I'm staying, I'm leaving, I love the club, I need a new challenge. City needs someone now to run the midfield. So here's the big question. Is it too risky to go all in on Paquetá while that investigation's still hanging over his head? Or is Pep just desperate to find anyone who plays remotely like De Bruyne? Me? I think if Pep gets him, we could be looking at a Brazilian maestro running the show at the Etihad. But if that suspension drops out of nowhere, it's not a symphony. It's a wreck on every level. So yeah, keep your eyes on this one. It's either gonna be a masterpiece or a spectacular flop. But let's hear it from you. If you were Pep, would you take the gamble? Sancho to Wolves? Well, who saw that coming? It's like someone hit the plot twist button on Jadon Sancho's career and said, let's try this direction now. Long story short, Wolves are seriously looking to sign Jadon Sancho. Yes, that's Sancho, the one who got booted from United's squad after that public fallout with Ten Hag, then quietly faded away during a forgettable loan at Chelsea. And now, boom, another shot in the Premier League. According to Football Transfers, Wolves are genuinely considering the move. And think about it, if Chelsea have no intention of keeping him and United don't want him anywhere near the team, who's left? That's right, Wolves. And to be fair, they're not messing around. They're reportedly open to selling Ait Nouri and Cunha to raise some cash for a rebuild. Smart business, sell, reinvest, no pointless €100 million transfers for hype alone. And let's not act like Sancho's some random nobody. Remember Dortmund? The dribbling, the passing, the impact, it was all there. And he's still only 25, not 35, even if it feels like he's been through a lifetime of ups and downs. His career went off track, not because he forgot how to play, but because he got shuffled around from club to club with no clear plan, no proper role, and, most importantly, no trust. Enter Wolves, a club that actually knows how to work with fallen stars. And here's the twist. If Cunha really leaves, that opens a spot for a versatile forward. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now, pay attention. If Chelsea do end up paying €6 million just to cancel that buy clause, and if United are willing to let Sancho go for less than his €36 million market value, Wolves might be looking at a sweet little deal. Buy low, develop, and who knows, maybe sell him later for a nice profit. Personally, I think this gamble has real potential. Yeah, it's risky, but it's a smart risk. And if Sancho can recover even 70% of his Dortmund form, Wolves could be hitting the jackpot here. But what do you think? Is Jadon still got something left in the tank, or is it finally time to cash in that Saudi paycheck? Bernardo Silva to Real Madrid? Now that's a bombshell, folks. And no, this isn't one of those agent's cousin saw him at the airport kind of rumors. This is coming straight from Real Madrid Confidencial. Looks like Florentino's cooking again, and this time he's got his eye on the 30-year-old playmaker who, let's be honest, hasn't exactly been lighting it up this season. 3 goals and 4 assists in 40 games? Really, that's your idea of a creative spark. Still, even a half-faded Bernardo is still top tier. Intelligent, technical, insanely versatile. Play him as a number 10, a winger, even deeper in midfield if needed. Players like that don't grow on trees. And here's the kicker. In just a few months, he'll have less than a year left on his contract. That's what we call prime transfer bait. Naturally, PSG are circling too. Classic PSG, always out to complete their collection of stars. And of course, the Saudi League is sniffing around again, bags of cash at the ready. Al Hilal, Al Ittihad. You know the drill. But let's not forget, Bernardo already turned them down once. Who's to say he won't do it again? Now the real question is for Madrid. Are you serious? You want a 30-year-old Silva to pull the creative strings? What happened to Camavinga? Bellingham? Valverde? Is the creativity crisis that deep? My take: if Bernardo does leave, it'll be for one of 2 reasons. Either he wants a fresh challenge, or he wants to feel like the guy again. And that's where Real Madrid might actually make sense. Because let's be honest, who says no to the Bernabeu if they come calling? One thing's for sure, this summer's going to be wild. But if I had to guess, I'd say Bernardo still feels more like a PSG signing. What about you? Think he's Madrid-bound or headed for Paris? Jose Mourinho as Brazil's new head coach? Come on. Is this some delayed April Fool's joke? Apparently not. Turkish media are seriously reporting today that the special one is being lined up to take charge of the Seleção. And honestly, my brain kind of short-circuits just thinking about it. Brazil and Mourinho. How's that for a footballing combo? Personally, I think it sounds downright bizarre. I mean, parking the bus under the samba drums? Really? Brazil is joga bonito, not a concrete wall in their own half. Can you imagine Vini Jr. tracking back and covering as a holding midfielder instead of dancing past defenders? That's not the Seleção. That's Bournemouth on a budget. Then again, who says Brazil doesn't need a jolt right now? Remember how they looked at the last World Cup? No fear, no intensity, just a collection of stars crumbling without a plan. There's a reason they sacked their last coach. They're clearly searching for someone who can not only bring tactical order, but get into these players' heads and wake them up. And that's where Mourinho enters the chat. A man who knows how to squeeze results out of chaos and put on a show while doing it. In Turkey, he's already gone full Jose, slamming referees, throwing his own club's management under the bus, trolling his players, the whole 9 yards. It almost feels like they brought him in just to spice up the league. And maybe that's what Brazil wants too. Not flashy football, but attention, order, and maybe even results. But here's the question. Will it work long term? To me, this feels like one of those wild what if it clicks gambles. And hey, I'll admit it. I'd love to see a Brazilian team running a Mourinho-style low block with Rafinha and Rodrigo playing fullback, just for the spectacle alone. So what do you think? Can Jose handle the carnival? One thing's for sure. If he really takes over Brazil, it'll be one of the loudest and most unexpected managerial twists of the last decade. Personally, I'm here for the drama. But let's move on, because the next story, absolute fire. Manchester United ready to throw 100 million euros at Fede Valverde. Guys, this isn't just a transfer. It's a full-blown attempt to drag the club out of total chaos. And if you're thinking this is another fake offer from some sources close to the club, think again. According to Fichajes, this is legit. Let me put it this way. If United are actually ready to drop 100 million on a midfielder, that means something's finally clicked at the club. Because Valverde isn't just a top player, he's a complete bulldozer with a brain. He can do it all: run, fight, pass, shoot, cover ground, lead. He's not just a footballer, he's the glue that could hold United's crumbling midfield together. Just think about it. 3 La Liga titles, 2 Champions Leagues, a regular starter for Real Madrid, and Ancelotti practically never takes him out of the lineup. Now tell me, would Real seriously let him go? Come on. They're already building a new core with Bellingham, Camavinga and Tchouaméni. And now they're just gonna hand over Valverde, but if you ask me, he's a perfect target for United. Casemiro's faded, Eriksen's barely moving, and Kobbie Mainoo still needs a proper preseason under a good coach. Valverde fits like a glove, experienced, versatile, mentally rock solid. He won't whine when things go south, he'll fight through the mud and show up on Champions League final nights. And let's be honest, this isn't just another big name. This would be a statement, exactly the kind of move they've lacked since Ferguson, bold, deliberate, meaningful. Not another Sancho or Pogba, where they just threw money and hoped for the best. This isn't about hype, this is about rebuilding the right way. Personally, if United pull this off, it could mark the beginning of a new era. But there's only one question. Do they have the guts to actually see it through? Or is this just going to be another flashy unveiling that falls apart? Like always, your move, Madrid.